All right, so we're going to get started and we're going to set up our application with Create React App, but we're also going to set up our backend using JSON Server, which is basically a development backend. It's what's called a fake REST API, and it mimics an actual API. In fact, you could build this with Express or whatever you'd like if you wanted to, but this allows us to get something up and running very quickly. So we can install it. We're not going to install it globally. We're going to use it in our project. And then we create a JSON file, which is essentially our database. So you can see here they have posts, comments, and profile. We're going to have logs and technicians. Okay, and then what we do is call JSON server and we watch that file, and then we can make all types of requests to it. Okay, so we can get the data, we can add to it, and when we make a post request, it will actually add the data to the file. The update, we can update the file, we can delete, all types of stuff. We can filter, we can paginate, sort, search, all that good stuff. So this is an excellent resource, especially if you just want to deal with the front end and you just need something to prototype, prototype your back end really quickly. So let's jump into VS Code. I just have an empty folder called IT Logger, and I'm going to set up React first. So I'm just going to run npx create React app in the current folder. And then what we'll do is we'll install JSON server along with concurrently, like we did in the last project, and we'll create a script so that we can run both at the same time with the same command. That way we don't have to run JSON server and React, in two different terminals. All right, so React is set up. So now I'm going to run npm install -d because I want to install these as dev dependencies, and I'm going to install JSON-server and concurrently. Now we're going to be using Redux along with React Redux, Redux Thunk, DevTools, all that stuff, but I'm not going to install that just yet. I'm going to wait until later on when we get to that. All right, so this is all set. Now what we need to do is create a db.json file in our root here. So db.json. And in this file, we're going to have our data. So we're going to open up some curly braces, and we're going to have basically a collection called logs. Okay, and this is going to be an array of objects. And then we're also going to have our techs or technicians. I'm just going to call it techs. And that will be an array as well. So as far as data to start off with, I'm going to just go ahead and paste some in, and you guys can just copy this. So for logs, we have 3 objects. They have an ID, a message like change hard drive on workstation 5, attention, so if they need attention or not, the date, and the tech that added it. Okay, you can see this one, workstation 7 not posting. This one does need attention. So those are the logs that we'll be dealing with. And then for the text, it's just going to be an ID, a first name, and a last name. So I'm going to paste these in. We have John Doe, Sam Smith, and Sarah Wilson. All right, so we'll save that. And when we make, for instance, a post request to add data, it will automatically add an ID, and it will auto increment it. So it's just fantastic the way that this works. All right, so, and I'll show you that. I'll show you before we even deal with React, we'll be able to use Postman to make requests just like we did with our Express backend. So let's close that up. And now what I want to do is open up package.json, and we need to add, we need to add a couple scripts. So first of all, obviously npm start will run React, but let's do JSON server to run our backend. So the way that we do this is we run JSON-server, we do -- watch, and then the name of the JSON file, which is db.json, and then -- port, and we want to run this on port 5000. Okay, we just make sure you put a comma. Now let's use concurrently, which I installed, right? Yeah, so we have concurrently installed, so I'll create a script called dev, and we're going to do this kind of the same thing we did in the last project. We're going to run concurrently, and then we need to do /quote npm and we want to do npm start. That'll run React. Okay, and then let's do npm run JSON-server, which will run our backend, our development server. Okay, so that should work. So let's go ahead and try it now. To run just JSON server, you could do npm run JSON server, but I'm going to try npm run dev to run both. Okay, so JSON server is running, you can see it, and then React should pop up. Awesome. So let's try out our server. Let's go to Postman, and it's running on 5000, so let's do HTTP localhost port 5000 / logs, make a GET request. And there we go, we have our logs. If we actually want to add a log, we can do that. Actually, let's not add a log, let's add a tech. It's a little easier. But let's do get / text. And there we go. So if we want to add a tech, we could make a post request. We need inside headers, we need our content type, and that should be application JSON. And then body, we'll do raw. And we have, we don't need to add an ID, it'll do that on its own. We just need a first name and a last name. Okay, let's go ahead and make that request, and it gives us that back. And notice the ID is number 4. We had 3, it just used auto increment and added 4. Now if I make a GET request to text down here, you'll see Jen Williams. If I want to edit Jen Williams, I can make a put request, and let's say Jennifer Williams, and send. And wait, did I do that right? Put to text. Oh, I need the ID here, so we want to do /4. And there we go. Now if I make a GET request again, just to check, to /text Jennifer Williams. If I want to delete, I can do a delete request to text /4. Run that. That should have deleted. So let's check with the GET request to text. And now she's gone. So we have complete CRUD functionality. We can also filter, sort, stuff. We can search. So this is really fantastic. Now, what I want to do before we end this video is just add our proxy, because I don't want to have to do localhost 5000 when we make our request from React. So in the package.json, let's go down to the bottom here, and let's add in our proxy. And let's say HTTP localhost port 5000. Save. Now you have to restart the server in order for the proxy to take effect. So let's do that. Actually, I'm going to keep this stopped because we're going to install something in the beginning of the next video. But everything should be set up as far as our backend, and it's ready to take requests and so on. So in the next video, we're going to install Materialize, which is the CSS framework we'll be using, and we're going to begin to clean up the standard create React app files, and then we'll start to create our components.